I'd love to wrap up with this thought. When you watch the national team level players now, when you watch the NWSL players now, like I can see the evolution of the sport when I watch it, and I'm just a doofy sports guy who has no specific expertise in soccer. But you watch the Trinity Rodmans, the Ashley Sanchez's, the Sophia Smiths, and how skilled they are with both feet and all of these different kinds of things, the level of athletes, the strength they have. And when you watch the evolution of the game, what are the things that excite you the most about kind of the current state and where we're going with women's soccer specifically in the U.S., but also to an extent globally?
Yeah, well, I think that you're absolutely right. Like the game has evolved a ton, and I think for a while I got like very sensitive when people would say like, "Oh, this is the best level of the women's national team ever," and I'm like, "Well, what about us? We were pretty good in '07," right. And like so it's taking me a little bit of time to be like, that doesn't detract what we did because we at the time like that was the best level. So I think that what really I love about the women's game now is how much people are watching soccer, how they're like, women's, men's, they know the names, they know the things that are going on. I mean, in the early 2000s and even early 2010s, like people barely knew cups going on. Like when I joke about '07, like that, we went to China, we won bronze in that World Cup. I'm sure that we didn't even have a huge following. So actually the Nike slogan for that team was the best team you've never heard of. And that just kind of says a lot about, no, I'm sure you've heard of the U.S. women's national team. I'm sure you've heard of Alex Morgan, Megan Rapinoe. Like you've heard of these people.
Right.
And so, so just like, we've sort of made it in the public, sports consciousness, I suppose, but on the field, the actual play on the field, I think that people are way more like broader based in their abilities. Like you could make the national team if you were fit and fast and could cross the ball. I'm not talking about anybody specifically here. Yes, myself. I excelled in some areas, and everybody knew what they could get from me. And that's what I was going to supply the team. And now I don't think that is sort of enough. Everybody has to have a larger platform of their like technique, their like tactical acuity. So I would say that it's like all the players are so much broader now in their athleticism and their soccer playing ability. And I think that a lot of that is just because they've just been watching the game more. Yeah. I mean, I would tune in, like I said, to watch a World Cup or maybe watch Manchester United like once or twice a season. But now people are like watching the game, watching Champions League, just like really embracing the soccer culture. And I think that it's showing up on the field. The decision-making is better. You really have to break teams down now. You can't just rely on out muscling somebody as much. So, just what's going on between the ears is a lot higher. And and clearly everything from the physical dimension is improving as well. Just all the data sharing has, I think, spread out knowledge, right? So all across the world, you can find out, all right, how many meters do you have to cover at what speed to be able to hang with the women's national team? Like you wouldn't know that 10 years ago. And so you could kind of guess and get these kids ready in a way that you thought that they potentially could. But now you actually see these speeds and these distances being covered. So I think that's that open information is sort of broadening out the player pool, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. I think for all sports, information has changed the game, and as it should, right? Like the newer generations should have a bigger bag or should have a bigger skill set because they get to watch everybody that came before them, right? Like in the NBA right now, a rookie coming in like Jason Tatum gets to watch film of Kobe and Jordan and Dr. J and Dirk Nowitzki. So now his package is so complete, and a player like Trinity Rodman gets to come in and be a little bit of Heather O'Reilly and a little bit of Alex Morgan, a little bit of Abby Wambach. Like she gets to be a little bit of all that. So that information that you're talking about is from the sports science side, yes, that makes my job a lot easier because I know exactly what to get the athletes prepared for. But from a tactical side, they also know they've seen different runs from different players and different formations being played. So that's the way that it is. So, but that doesn't discount players like you who were the bridge, who set the example. And that doesn't mean that you coming up in this generation, if we bring you back to 7-year-old, 7th grade Heather O'Reilly with the same determination and motivation and heart for this game, there's no reason why you wouldn't have learned how to play the way that they play today. So I think it's weird that people say, oh, well, players are more skilled today. Well, yeah, because they have the information available to them.
Right.
Right.
They're on the backs of the legends.
Yes. Yeah, they are. And hopefully Trinity Rodman can pay me back and take me out to lunch or something with
yeah, right.
Their new salary contract being signed, because those contracts weren't around. They should have been, but they weren't quite there yet when I was signing as a rookie. So maybe she can take me out to lunch or something to thank me.
Well, they're there because of people like you. So she does owe that to you. And the new generation does owe a lot to the Heather O'Reillys of the world.